Hello, and thank you very much for joining us again. And in this module, we'll be looking at additional questions. Question 1. Why did you conduct the preliminary design while other consultants handled the detailed design? Was it due to local legal requirements, or were there other reasons? So this question is asking, why exactly did you perform that scope? Why didn't you do the whole scope? Why did you have to allocate some parts of the project to consultants? Question 2, did you carry out the foundation design yourself, or did you contract this out? Why? So it's important for you to note that some project engineers use trusted or qualified vendors. So this is where we have examples of where some candidates act more as project civil engineers or project mechanical engineers instead of technical engineers. So even though you are acting as a project civil engineer, you are still responsible for the project in terms of the technical know-how. So you need to know about the technical side of the project. Very important. Question 3. Why did you select steel fiber reinforced concrete in your design? Question 4. How did you verify that the material was effective? Did you test it? Question 5. How did you verify the test results? Question 6. Why did you not consider using pre-stressed concrete in your design? So it's not enough to tell us that you selected a particular component. You have to tell us why you did not select others. What was wrong with them? Question 7. This is a specific question, and it says the concrete slab, was designed to span over high voltage cable. Does the concrete itself have any special requirements? So what sort of characteristics would you expect for that concrete slab which was over a high voltage cable? So things like ensuring that this concrete slab is thick enough to provide sufficient protective barrier above high voltage cable protection. Consider vibration that the concrete slab will be subjected to. You have to make sure that that it is not subjected to vibration that will cause damage to the cable. Also, ensure that there is accessibility of the cable for inspection. Question 8. Are there any specific additives selected? So did you use any additives for the concrete mix to improve the characteristics of the concrete? Question 9. Are there any special requirements for construction near high pressure cables? So for instance, you have to consider safe distance because of the risk of high pressure exposure. Question 10. Why did you use prefabricated materials? So advantages of fabricating materials before sending them to the site are speed and efficiency, reduced on-site labor. It is also sustainable. Question 11. What are the safety requirements for construction after the prefabricated components arrive on site? So things to consider when you're bringing in these large prefabricated materials on site are secure rigging, clear communication during lifting operations. Question 12. Steel fiber reinforced concrete slab design life. So talk about that and concrete cover. Question 13. Did you conduct any ground investigation works? Question 14. How can you verify the accuracy and correctness of the data provided by the ground investigation works? Question 15. How many people are under your supervision? Question 16. How do you verify their work and how do you ensure that their results are correct? Provide examples. So, as a team lead or a technical lead, it is not enough for you to assign tasks to team members. You have to ensure first that they are competent, they are proficient, and also ensure that you verify the accuracy, the method. Okay. Question 17. What software did you use during project scheduling? Question 18. How do you determine what the critical path is? Question 19. What is the float of a project? So obviously for question 18, they're asking for the critical path of a project. Question 20. How do you manage budget and how do you manage the construction schedule during design? Question 21. How do you manage the overlapping work of so many consultants? Question 22. Have you achieved diversity in your teams? How do you ensure inclusivity? So be rest assured you're going to be asked something on diversity and inclusion. That's on 22. So provide examples. So under diversity, you're not expected to just talk about the diversity in beliefs, in appearance, but also diversity in knowledge and competence, especially for people moving from one industry to another industry. So for instance, someone is coming from the oil and gas industry and moving over to the nuclear industry. The person probably has some safety culture that you can learn from. So you have to be inclusive. Question 23. How would you choose a consultant? And what are the reasons for choosing a particular consultant? Question 24. How did you incorporate safety into your design? Question 25. What are the local laws regarding safety and what are their main provisions? Question 26. Does local law require clients to conduct safety walkdowns at specific intervals? Question 27. What types of contracts have you worked with? Question 28. What are the differences in the engineer's role under the FIDIC and the NEC contracts? So, anything you mention in your report, be prepared to answer questions on them. Number 29. Have you worked with both lump sum contracts and remeasure contracts? Question 30. What types of contracts does the consultant contracts you manage fall under? Okay. So 29, I believe it's reimbursable contracts. That's what the candidate was alluding to. So lump sum and reimbursable contracts. Question 30. What types of contracts does the consultant contract that you manage fall under? Okay. And then question 31. How would you handle a situation where a consultant's price is significantly lower than others during the tender process? So this is about selecting a vendor. So what steps would you take to address that situation? Question 32. Have you ever dealt with a situation where a consultant attempted to bribe you to secure a job? Question 33. What are the 3 pillars of sustainability? Question 34. In your accessible pathways design project, did you consider leaving them unchanged for environmental benefits? How did you balance and evaluate this? So there are certain times when you ask yourself, do we proceed with this project or do we disturb the environment? Is it worth it? And what measures are we going to take to ensure that the environment does not suffer? Question 35. Did you estimate carbon emissions as part of your projects? Question 36. In your CPD, you claimed 30 plus hours for career appraisal. Why do you believe that this qualifies as CPD? So this is where you have to carefully consider what items you put as a continuing personal development. I would say that if you have a mentor, so a mentor that is chartered, or even someone who is not necessarily chartered but is your line manager or your supervisor, and you have spoken to them about your plans to become a chartered engineer, you're obviously expected to schedule meetings, progress meetings with them where they go through your reports. That is definitely considered a CPD activity if you've clearly identified that. So you could spend, say, 1 hour a week where your mentor, who is chartered and also is a mentor with a professional institution, is giving you advice. You can definitely log that as CPD because those are concrete steps towards making you chartered. In terms of the number, 30 hours, that's something you have to really consider. But the most important thing is every activity which would lead to supporting your application for chartered status is definitely a CPD. Another very good example is if you attend a seminar which is led by your professional institution, whether it's the ICE, the IMEC-E, or the IET. That is a CPD activity. Okay. Question 37. What aspects of the code of conduct do you consider as the most important? So thank you very much for listening. Do not hesitate if you want even more questions, or you want to attend a mock interview, or you want a mock interview to be produced for you. We can do that. We can arrange a customized mock interview to help you prepare for your professional registration interview. Thank you very much, and I will see you in the next module. Bye-bye.